The doctor said, "Your baby has stopped growing." The moment those words were spoken, everything went dark before my eyes. The white walls of the examination room felt like they were tilting.
How could this be?
Then the doctor asked, "Are you taking any medications or supplements?" "Yes, I'm taking prenatal vitamins every day," I replied. "Did you purchase them yourself, or did someone give them to you?" The doctor continued. With a trembling voice, I answered, "My mother gave them to me." The doctor's expression froze. In the distance, I could hear the nurse rushing to prepare something. That was the day my life completely fell apart. My name is Megan. I work as an accountant and am currently on maternity leave. I have been married to Tyler for 3 years, and we were expecting our first child. I believed I was living the happiest time of my life. At least, that's what I thought. Tyler had been kind since the day we met, always listening carefully to everything I said. Even after our marriage, he never changed. When he found out about the pregnancy, he was happier than anyone. He even took the initiative to help prepare the baby's room. My mother, Diane, had once been a successful model and still retained her beauty. She and my father divorced 10 years ago, and since then, she has been living alone. I never asked about the reason for their divorce. She never wanted to talk about it, and I never pushed. Every family has a past that shouldn't be disturbed. She seemed truly happy when she learned about my pregnancy. A week after I told her, she came to visit. When she hugged me at the doorway, I felt her warmth for the first time in a long while. "I found some wonderful vitamins for you," she said. "A pregnant woman needs special nutrition, so I'll bring them to you every month." The white box she handed me contained expensive-looking vitamins. The label read, "Organic, all natural ingredients. Doctor recommended." I was deeply touched by how much she cared, and I thanked her again and again. Mother simply smiled gently and said, "It's for you and the baby." Around that time, Tyler also began visiting my mother's house more often. "I'm going to check on your mom," he would say, going there about once a week. I thought he was being thoughtful toward her since she lived alone, acting like a good son-in-law. I remember thinking how kind my husband was and how blessed I truly felt. But around the 7th month of my pregnancy, something began to feel off. I started feeling unusually tired. Getting out of bed in the morning became difficult, and even climbing the stairs left me breathless. My appetite disappeared, and I couldn't even stand the smell of pasta, which I used to love. I wasn't gaining any weight at all. Even in the later stage of pregnancy, my belly wasn't growing the way it should. When I spoke to Tyler about it, he gently wrapped his arm around my shoulders and said, "It's okay. That's just how pregnancy can be." My friend's wife was the same way. When I called my mother, she said something similar. I was like that too. "You're worrying too much, Megan. Stress is the worst thing for you." Her voice sounded calm and reassuring. Still, something didn't feel right. That sense of unease grew stronger with each passing day. One night, while I was lying on the sofa, Tyler's smartphone lit up. He was in the shower. A message notification appeared on the screen placed on the table. The sender's name was just a single letter, D. I couldn't see the message itself, but the moment I saw that letter, a cold feeling settled in my chest.
Who is D?
Diane, my mother's name. But why would my husband save my mother's name as just one letter? The shower stopped. I quickly closed my eyes and pretended to be asleep. I sensed Tyler coming out, picking up his phone. He didn't say anything and quietly went into the bedroom. That night, I couldn't sleep. There's something going on between my husband and my mother. That thought gripped my chest and refused to let go. By the 8th month of pregnancy, the day of my regular checkup arrived, and I went to my usual OB/GYN. As I lay on the examination table, the ultrasound began. I always looked forward to seeing my baby on the monitor, but this time felt different. The doctor kept examining the same area repeatedly, adjusting the probe, changing the angle, and then checking again. His expression gradually became more serious. "The baby's development is a bit delayed," he said quietly. "Are you eating properly?" "Yes, I'm eating well," I replied. "I also take my vitamins every day." The doctor suddenly paused. "Vitamins? What kind?" Prenatal supplements my mother gave me. Organic, very good quality. He nodded, but there was clear concern in his eyes.
I see.
Just to be safe, let's schedule your next checkup in 1 week instead of 2. If you notice anything unusual, contact us immediately. As I walked out of the examination room, my legs were trembling. The baby's development is delayed. Those words echoed over and over in my mind. When I got home, Tyler was sitting on the sofa watching TV. I sat beside him and said, in a shaking voice, "The baby's development is apparently delayed." He put down the remote and gently hugged me. "It's okay. Doctors tend to exaggerate. You're doing great. You're eating properly and getting enough rest, right? And you're taking those vitamins, too." "Those are expensive ones," he added. "About $100 a bottle, I heard. They must be working." I froze in his arms. How did Tyler know the price of the vitamins? Did my mother tell him, or did he look it up himself? No, why would he even need to look it up? "Did Mom tell you about those vitamins?" I asked. "Yeah," he replied casually. "When I visited your mother the other day, she mentioned they're really high quality, so I should make sure you take them." His voice sounded completely natural, but something still bothered me. What was this unsettling feeling? A few days later, I went to my mother's house without calling ahead. She had seemed a little strange lately, and I wanted to see her and talk in person. The front door was unlocked. "Mom, I'm coming in," I called out as I stepped inside. As soon as I entered the living room, I saw her hurriedly hide something. "Oh, Megan, you should call before coming," she said, her voice slightly higher than usual. "You startled me." I looked toward the table and noticed a familiar white box. It was the same box as the vitamins I took every day, but this one was already open, and some capsules were missing. "That's my vitamins, right?" I asked. "Why did you open it?" For a moment, Mother hesitated. "Oh, I was just preparing the next batch," she said. "I was going to give you next month's supply, but the box is already open. Do you want to check the contents?" She forced a smile, but it didn't feel natural. Her lips were smiling, but her eyes were not. "I only wanted to be certain that I was providing you with something of good quality. After all, this was for my daughter and my grandchild." There was something else sitting on the table, a small brown bottle. The label was turned in such a way that I couldn't read it. When I tried to move closer to take a better look, Mother quickly reached out and slipped it into a drawer. "Well, there's no point in standing around talking. I'll make some tea. Have a seat," she said, and with that, she hurried off toward the kitchen. I remained alone in the living room, staring at the opened box of vitamins. That night, after I returned home, I sat by myself, lost in thought. Tyler had already said he would be late from work. I placed the new box of vitamins Mother had given me on the living room table and kept staring at it. Slowly, I opened the box and took out a single capsule. Inside the clear shell was tightly packed white powder. I had been taking these every single day, vitamins from my mother meant for the baby. But something felt off. The color of the capsules seemed slightly different from when I had first received them. Before, they had looked clearer, more transparent. Now, they appeared a little cloudy. Was I just imagining things? I took one capsule and quietly hid it at the back of my bedroom drawer. I didn't really know why I did that. I just felt the need to keep one just in case. A moment later, I heard the front door open. Tyler was home. "I'm back," he said, his voice tired. "Welcome home." "I'll warm up dinner," I replied, standing up and heading toward the kitchen. Just as I was about to put the vitamin box away, Tyler picked it up. "Oh, you got a new batch. Make sure you take them. Your mother was worried." His tone was gentle, his face kind, but I thought I noticed something hidden deep within his eyes. I couldn't quite tell what it was. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't sleep. As I listened to Tyler's steady breathing beside me, I stared up at the ceiling. My thoughts raced. The vitamins Mother had given me, the price my husband somehow knew, the single-letter name that had appeared on his phone, the open box, the doctor's concerned expression, and the baby's delayed development. All of it scattered through my mind like pieces of a puzzle. And yet, whenever I tried to fit them together, a terrifying image began to form, so I shut my eyes. No, that couldn't be. Mother would never hurt me. My husband would never betray me. This was just my pregnancy hormones making me overly sensitive. But then, the baby in my belly moved slightly, as if trying to tell me something. In the darkness, I gently stroked my stomach. It's okay. Mommy will protect you. Repeating those words over and over in my mind, I eventually drifted into a light, uneasy sleep. But I had a nightmare. I saw a white box opening, and from inside it, black powder spilled out. I watched myself swallowing it, then felt something inside my belly come to a sudden stop. When I woke up, my cheeks were wet with tears. I was nearly full term when the day of my final checkup arrived. That morning, I asked Tyler to come with me, but he apologized. I'm sorry, I have an important contract today. I can't leave work. I promise I'll go with you next time. I called Mother as well, but she said her back was hurting and she couldn't move. Maybe it's my age. I haven't been feeling well lately. I'm sorry, Megan. In the end, I went to the hospital alone. While sitting in the waiting room, I gently rubbed my belly. It's okay. I'll see you soon, I whispered silently in my heart. Then my name was called and I walked into the examination room. The same doctor was there waiting. His expression looked even more serious than before. Let's begin the ultrasound, he said. I lay back on the examination table as a layer of cold gel was spread across my belly. The probe was pressed gently against my skin, and soon the image of my baby appeared on the monitor. The doctor watched the screen closely, adjusting the angle again and again, focusing on the same area repeatedly. Deep lines creased his forehead. After a moment, he motioned to the nurse. Wait a moment, he said quietly. A nurse entered, and the two of them began speaking in low, hushed tones. I couldn't make out their words, but the tension in the room made it clear that something was wrong. The doctor then pulled up a chair and sat beside me, while the nurse continued to observe with visible concern. I'm going to be honest with you, he said, looking directly into my eyes. Your baby has stopped growing. I couldn't respond. The words didn't make sense to me. Stopped growing. What did that even mean? There has been almost no development since your last checkup, he continued. If this continues, it could also put your life at risk. Why? I asked, my voice shaking. I've been eating properly, taking my vitamins, and getting enough rest. I did everything right. At the mention of vitamins, his expression changed sharply. Vitamins, he repeated. Tell me more about them. Are you taking any medications or supplements? Yes, I replied. Prenatal vitamins every day, morning and evening, twice daily. Did you purchase them yourself, or did someone give them to you? I hesitated briefly, then answered. My mother gave them to me. Ever since I found out I was pregnant, she's been bringing them to me every month. She said they were very high quality. The doctor's face grew serious. Do you have any of those vitamins with you right now? No, they're at home. But I suddenly gasped and reached for my bag. That one capsule I had hidden in a drawer, I had brought it with me for some reason I couldn't fully explain. I might have one capsule with me, I said, searching through my bag. At the back of my wallet, inside a small pocket, I found it, a clear capsule filled with white powder. The doctor took it from me and examined it carefully. Then he handed it to the nurse. Take this to the lab immediately, he said. Urgent. The nurse rushed out. I remained on the examination table, stunned. Time seemed to stand still as we waited. The doctor stayed silent, writing notes on my chart. I placed my hand over my belly. The baby was still moving, still alive, but its growth had stopped. About 30 minutes later, the nurse returned, holding a sheet of paper. The doctor took it and reviewed the contents. His face turned pale. After taking a deep breath, he looked at me again, his eyes filled with both anger and sympathy. Ma'am, this is not a vitamin. I stared at him, unable to process his words. This contains substances that prevent fetal development. That's not true, I said weakly. That can't be true. It is, the doctor replied, showing me the report. The page was covered in chemical formulas and numbers I couldn't understand, but he continued explaining. This drug, when taken in small amounts over time, gradually stops the fetus from growing and eventually. His voice trailed off, but I didn't need him to finish. Eventually, the baby dies. Inside my mind, every scattered clue suddenly locked into place with a sharp, unmistakable snap. The vitamins my mother had been giving me, each month, she would bring a fresh box, gently reminding me not to forget to take them. Then there was the price my husband somehow knew, $100 per bottle. Why was he so familiar with such specific details? And that single-letter name on his phone. Diane. The open package. The brown bottle my mother had quickly hidden. My husband's weekly visits to her house, always claiming he was just checking on her. All of it pointed toward one horrifying conclusion. My mother was trying to kill my baby, and my husband was helping her. I shook my head in disbelief. This can't be real. But the test results in the doctor's hands told a cold, undeniable truth. Please calm down, the doctor said, placing a steady hand on my shoulder. This is a very serious situation. We need to contact the police. This is a crime. The word police echoed in my mind, and suddenly reality crashed down on me all at once. With trembling hands, I pulled my phone from my bag and stared at the screen. Who should I call? My mother? My husband? No, they were the enemy. They were trying to kill me, to kill my baby. Then one name came to mind, Rachel. My best friend. A lawyer, yes, but more importantly, someone I trusted completely. May I call a friend? I asked the doctor. She's a lawyer. Of course, he replied with a nod. I'll contact the police. You should contact someone you trust. I dialed immediately. Rachel picked up right away. Megan, what's wrong? My voice shook as I spoke. Rachel, help me. My mother and my husband are trying to kill me. Without hesitation, she responded. I'm coming right now. Don't move. Don't speak to anyone until the police arrive. After ending the call, I curled up on the examination table, hugging my knees. A nurse gently placed a blanket over me. It's okay. You're safe now, she said softly. But was I really safe? My mother, the woman who gave birth to me, who raised me, who brushed my hair and baked cakes for my birthdays, was now trying to kill my baby. And my husband, the man I loved, the one who made vows to me, the one who shared my bed every night, had betrayed me, conspiring with her.
Why?
There was no answer. Then I felt a faint movement in my belly. The baby's still alive. There was still time. At that moment, I made a decision. I would trust no one anymore. I would rely on no one. The only person who could protect me and my baby was myself. The doctor returned. The police are on their way. Please stay here until they arrive. I nodded silently and turned my gaze toward the window. The sky stretched out in a brilliant blue. On such a beautiful day, my entire life had fallen apart. Rachel arrived at the hospital within 30 minutes. When she pushed open the examination room door, her face wasn't the composed expression of a lawyer. It was the worried face of a best friend. Megan. She pulled me into a tight embrace, and in her arms, I finally broke down. Tears poured out like a dam bursting. Calm down. Tell me everything, she said gently, rubbing my back. I told her everything. The vitamins my mother gave me, my husband's suspicious behavior, the letter D on his phone, the open box, and the terrifying truth the doctor had revealed. Rachel listened in silence. There was anger burning in her eyes, but no shock on her face, as if part of her had always expected something like this. I've been betrayed by my mother too, she said quietly. So I understand. Blood doesn't guarantee love. You're not alone, Megan. I will protect you no matter what. Soon, the police arrived. 2 detectives began questioning me. With a trembling voice, I recounted everything once again. The doctor submitted the test results, and the vitamin capsules were handed over as evidence. Rachel stayed by my side as my lawyer, making sure my rights were protected. The detectives listened carefully, taking notes. We'll detain your mother and husband, the older detective said. At the same time, we'll obtain a search warrant for your mother's house. That evening, I lay in a hospital bed, kept overnight for observation. Rachel remained with me. As darkness settled outside, the detective called. Rachel answered, listening intently. Her expression slowly grew more serious. After hanging up, she let out a deep breath. They found it. A lot of evidence. The results of the search of Diane's house were beyond anything I had imagined. In a drawer in the living room, they discovered the same drug that had been mixed into the vitamins, a substance kept in a small brown bottle with a chemical label. A drug designed to stop a pregnancy. Originally intended for limited medical use, it was classified as a controlled substance. On my mother's computer, records revealed that she had been purchasing the drug from dark websites. Although the payments were made using cryptocurrency, the police still managed to trace them. Even more shocking were the messages exchanged between Tyler and Diane, hundreds of them stored on a smartphone. Within those messages, their relationship was laid bare in vivid detail. "I love you, Diane. Just a little longer. I love you too, Tyler. Everything will work out. Megan hasn't noticed anything. When the baby dies, Megan will have a mental breakdown. After that, it'll be easy." That's right. We can make it look like an accident. A wife, overwhelmed with grief, falling down the stairs. That's all there is to it. With every message I read, my chest tightened painfully. This was the reality of my husband and my mother, their true nature finally exposed. In addition, there were numerous photographs of the two of them together, at restaurants, in hotels, and along the beach, all unmistakably portraying them as a couple. My mother looked youthful and beautiful, while Tyler smiled beside her, completely at ease. Then there was the diary discovered in Diane's bedroom, its pages filled with her madness. "Megan has everything: youth, beauty, a husband, a baby. All of that should have been mine. From the moment that child was born, William stopped looking at me. He gave all his love to that child. I was abandoned, not just as a mother, but as a woman. So I'll take it all back. Everything. Tyler loves me. I'll take everything for Megan." Yet even more horrifying evidence was still to come. The following day, Rachel entered my hospital room, her expression heavier than before. "Megan, sit down and listen," she said, holding another police report. Tyler and Diane's relationship had gone even further. Diane was pregnant with Tyler's child. I was left speechless. My own mother, carrying my husband's baby. At that moment, Tyler's true motive became painfully clear. From the very beginning, he had approached me for my inheritance, the $300,000 left to me by my father, William. That had been his goal all along. Emails found on Tyler's confiscated computer confirmed it. His correspondence with Diane made everything undeniable. That inheritance should have been mine. William didn't leave me anything after the divorce. He gave everything to Megan. His final act of cruelty. But it's fine. If Tyler marries Megan, the inheritance becomes ours. And if Megan dies, he'll inherit it as her husband. Then we'll be free. Money, love. We'll have it all. 3 years of marriage. Nothing but a lie. Tyler had never loved me. All he ever wanted was my money. And my mother never saw me as her daughter, only as a younger rival, someone she wanted to strip of everything. On the day of the trial, I stood at the witness stand. The courtroom was packed with reporters. The case had spread widely through local media, sensationalized as a forbidden love triangle between a mother, her daughter, and a husband. In the defendant's seat sat Diane and Tyler, both of them stripped of the radiance they once had. Diane's expression appeared hollow and drawn, while Tyler looked visibly worn and disheveled. The prosecutor turned to me and asked, "What relationship did the defendants have with you?" I inhaled slowly before responding. I explained that these individuals were my mother and my husband in name only, but not in any genuine sense of family. True family, I said, would care for and protect one another, yet neither of them showed me any love. Instead, they had attempted to take the life of my unborn child, and even my own life. From the very beginning, there had been no affection, only harm. I paused, resting my hand gently on my abdomen. I had survived, and my baby was now growing well. Following an emergency cesarean section, my child had been delivered safely, small, but alive. At that moment, she was being cared for in the hospital's neonatal intensive care unit, steadily gaining strength each day. Suddenly, Diane rose abruptly and began shouting, You never should have been born. You destroyed my life. William stopped paying attention to me after you arrived. It's all your fault. The bailiffs quickly moved to restrain her, but she continued screaming. I was young. I was beautiful, and you took everything from me. You trapped me in the life of a mother. I couldn't endure it any longer, so I tried to reclaim what I lost. My life, my happiness. I remained silent, then looked directly at her. Calmly, I said, Goodbye, mother. I will never see you again. The judge struck the gavel, and the verdict was delivered. Both Diane and Tyler were sentenced to 15 years in prison. As I exited the courtroom, Tyler's gaze met mine, filled with regret, but it was already too late. Rachel gently placed her arm around my shoulders and said softly, It's over now. A new life begins. Outside, the sun was shining, and the crisp winter air felt refreshing against my skin. I took a deep breath and thought, I am alive. My baby is alive too. That alone is enough. A year later, I had relocated to a quiet coastal town where no one knew my past. Here, I lived peacefully as a young mother, raising my child away from the shadows of what had happened before. From the living room window, I could see the calm sea, and the steady rhythm of the waves brought a sense of comfort. Mama. A small voice called out. I turned and saw Lily standing there with her arms open wide. She had just turned 1 year old and had recently learned to walk. Oh, you stood up so well, I said, lifting her into my arms. Her small body felt warm, her hair soft against my cheek. She meant everything to me. When she had been born prematurely via emergency cesarean section, she weighed less than 2,000 grams. Despite her fragile start, she fought hard to survive. The moment her tiny fingers wrapped around mine, I was overwhelmed with emotion. At that instant, I made a promise to protect her. That promise became my reason to keep going. The doorbell rang, and it was Rachel. Since it was the weekend, she had come to visit as planned. When I opened the door, she stood smiling, holding a gift for Lily. Lily has grown so much, she said warmly. When she picked Lily up, my daughter responded with a joyful laugh. She had grown very fond of Rachel. We sat together drinking coffee, catching up on life. Rachel remained busy with her legal career, while I had recently begun part-time work at a small accounting firm in town. I told her sincerely, Without you, we wouldn't be here today. She gently shook her head and replied, You are the strong one. I only helped a little. Then she added quietly, Real family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by the people you choose, Megan. Her words deeply resonated with me. That evening, after Rachel returned home, I bathed Lily, gently washing her small body while reflecting on the past year. Diane and Tyler had appealed their sentences, but the decision was upheld. Both remained in prison. I heard that Diane had suffered a mental breakdown and received no visitors, while Tyler had become isolated and disliked among other inmates. The child born to them had been rejected by Tyler's family and placed for adoption. An innocent life, yet one I had no means to help directly. Meanwhile, the $300,000 inheritance from my father, William, was officially confirmed as mine. In addition, I won $200,000 in damages through a civil lawsuit against Diane and Tyler, bringing the total to $500,000. I used part of the funds to purchase this home and save the remainder for Lily's future. Although I regained financial stability, the emotional losses were far greater. The trust one once had in my mother, the love I believed existed in my marriage, and the illusion of what I thought family meant. Yet alongside that loss, I discovered something else, a deeper inner strength and the precious life now before me. After putting Lily to sleep, I sat alone in the living room as moonlight filtered softly through the window. My mother had not loved me, and my husband had not truly loved me either, but I loved Lily. She was my real family. Blood relations no longer defined that meaning for me. True family consists of those who protect and care for one another. Rachel, though not related by blood, had proven to be part of that family. Through the baby monitor, I could hear Lily's steady breathing as she slept peacefully. I smiled, reassured by the calm rhythm of her rest. Those dark times were behind us now. From this point forward, Lily and I would move ahead together, free from the past and focused entirely on the future. Outside, the waves continued to lap gently against the shore, and moonlight cast a shimmering silver path across the sea. I stood and walked quietly into her room, looking down at her small figure sleeping soundly in her bed. Leaning down, I whispered, "Good night, Lily. Mommy will always protect you." I kissed her forehead softly before leaving the room. Back in the living room, the echo of her laughter still lingered in my mind, bright, pure, and full of life. Standing by the window, I made a silent promise. I would give her nothing but love. I wanted her to grow up without experiencing betrayal, deception, or hatred. Instead, I would teach her what real family truly means, a bond not defined by blood but by love. A gentle night breeze drifted through the room, and I felt it in that moment. A new tomorrow was on its way.